Hey, it's Kley. Welcome to another video. This is going to be an attempt at doing everyone's most favorite thing. That is troubleshooting a pedal that doesn't work. Whew, yowza. That is not fun. We've all been there. You get through your build, you're all excited about it, and it doesn't work. That is the worst feeling in the world for a pedal builder. And actually, this guy, it worked at one point. This is an old pedal, so not a new build that wasn't able to work, but an old pedal that worked for a long time, but at some point stopped working. And I just gave it a shot, and it was, I was unable to get any sound at first. I did kind of some shaking around and was able to get maybe a little bit of splotchy signal, but that's not going to cut it. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't pop this guy open and see what it might take to fix it. Alrighty, so where to begin? First, I really think you should probably plug in the pedal and play it. You know, and some of that information will help you understand what's going on. Now, the fact that I got some signal, both on bypass and with the effect engaged, that's beneficial, lets me know a little bit. The fact that the signal was kind of intermittent and when I would shake it, that's already starting to kind of highlight some of the problems in my mind. And the fact that I do believe this at one point was a working pedal, that does kind of help narrow things down. So, you know, that kind of eliminates some of the issues that I might look into, but we're not going to leave anything to chance. So, first and foremost, I've already taken the opportunity to unscrew the back. As we lift off our cover, oh golly, look at that beauty. So this is definitely an older pedal that I worked on a long time ago. You can see I've got a Radio Shack circuit board here, just with a bunch, it's just basically like a piece of plastic with a bunch of holes, and it's got these little copper, I don't know, traces, and then it's just all point to point. I see kind of a big rat's nest right here, but, you know, overall, the bottom of the board, I mean, there's maybe some leads here that should be trimmed off, shortened, but overall, it doesn't look too bad. Big issue I noticed is all this rat's nest of wiring going on here. This battery here is probably a pretty bad idea. It does look like I smarted up and I put some electrician's tape on the side of this battery so it wouldn't contact on this switch here, which is where I had housed it. But nonetheless, not probably a great idea. First of all, let's go ahead and see. One weird thing about this pedal is I don't actually have a way to power it other than via a battery, which is maybe odd. The battery reads at 7.7 volts, so that should work. So I mean, that's maybe a little lower than normal, but I don't think that would cause the pedal to stop working. Interesting old battery here. I think I'm probably going to consider modding this to add a 9-volt plug. Now, my recollection is if we flip out this circuit board, holy cows, look at that nightmare in there of rat's nest wires. Got a double pull, double throw switch. Got these two capacitors, and I believe this is a Fuzz Face derivative. You know, we got two capacitors, a handful of resistors, or 3 capacitors. So I may try and make some improvements to the circuit, and I see a whole lot of electrician's tape. So, yeah, my first impressions, I can see why, you know, having some spotty connections, I think a lot of it is just due to how I mounted things. It's kind of my first impressions here. All this lengthy cable run and the fact that the component board was just floating doesn't really seem like a good idea. It seems like an easy way to get some incidental contacts that you don't want. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to keep going and take this thing apart completely. As I continue to take this thing apart, I do want to comment a little bit on this case. As you can see, it's not the prettiest. One of my daughters got a hold of it and had a phase with permanent markers and Sharpies, and I maybe wasn't always the most attentive when they were getting a hold of that here, and just scribbled all over it. So kind of thought maybe it would be cute at one point, but think that aesthetic has kind of worn its way out. So one of the things I'm probably going to consider doing is refinishing this guy. I'm going to use probably some spray paint and maybe try to get a little creative with it and see if I can't make it look a little prettier than what it looks like now. So I think what I'm going to probably end up doing is just trying to draw the schematic, and I think that'll help me understand where I'm at and what changes I want to make based on some of my preferences, and we can kind of talk it through a little bit. So let's go ahead and draw it up.